finally, a source of raw, real, and honest information on healthcare issues that matter most. Welcome to BS Free MD. From the latest medical information to how to stay sane as a doctor or a patient, no subject is taboo, no BS is allowed. Now, let's welcome your hosts, Doctors May and Tim Hindmarsh.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. It's Fun Thursday, and that means you never know what's going to happen. Oh, I know who's not here. Compton Vineyards. That's who we were waiting for. Maybe Tabitha will show up. They are on our show tonight, too, but we haven't seen her in the green room. You guys I can see everybody kind of working through every place in here. So they our sponsors tonight are Compton Family Dentistry, also BS Free MD, and you're going to meet May and Tim tonight. Some of you already know them, but you're going to meet them again tonight. They have a podcast where they talk very openly, bluntly, professionally, and is funly a word? Funly? I think funly can be a word. If I want to say it, it's my show. I can call it what I want. It's very funly, and they're kind of cracker boxes and they're funny, but they really are doctors. I mean, they really are. And so they're going to be doing that. They're one of our sponsors as well. Kim Sark's going to be here tonight from the Pumpkin Patch. She took a little ride, and it sounds kind of violent to me, but hey, I don't know. Kim is kind of a violent person. And she has the kids with her tonight. And then we've got old Bill London with 16 minutes of news. And oh my gosh, sometimes I go through and watch first, because I want to make sure that I'm not going to get in trouble. And I'm going to get in trouble. He's talking about politics in Oregon and then all kinds of stuff. And what I love about Bill is he gives you things that you never hear on the regular legacy news. Bill goes to that depth. And what's kind of fun is May and Tim, I know, are big Bill fans, and Bill pays attention to what they do. And Matt McCarl is not only a sponsor of our show with New Leaves Hyperbarics and Wellness Center, he also helps sponsor BS Free MD. So we're like all one big happy family. And don't you just love that, May and Tim?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Do I still have to cough every time I bring you on?
Only if you want to, but I don't have much.
I know how to put it down. I just cough.
I was going to say, do you want me to wear a mask?
What should I feel?
Or do you want me to wear a glove?
Oh, now, Dr. Tim, I'm not that kind of guy usually. So, and here's Kim Stark. Kim,
hi.
I'm sorry. Did I forget about you?
I was chatting. Weird.
You know what? Weird. Kim chatting to someone else. You know what I forgot? Tabitha is not here with our winery.
Elena's the heaviest. Well, can you be Tabitha tonight?
Everett. Go back to Everett just a minute.
Everett, listen what they're doing. Show Rick what you guys are doing.
What are you guys? Oh, they're weighing each other on the pumpkin scale. Oh, there's Kim. See those people walking by? They're going, why can't that woman control her children?
I'm so used to it right now. It doesn't even matter. So.
It's because May and Kim has twins, a boy and a girl twin.
And that's going to be my excuse the rest of my life.
For her whole life.
Valid excuse.
That's why she needs Compton Family Vineyards to be here.
I need a glass right now.
I can hook you up. I've been there and I've done this before. All right, Kim. So you'll tell us about that in just a minute. I'm going to go talk to BS Free MD and then we'll get back to you. Okay. All right. Hey, you guys. Welcome to the fun. I'm so glad to have you as clients. This is really fun, and just friends. And Tim and May have been on before, a long time back during the I call it the dark ages. That 2 years that we had. You know what you do on Facebook is you don't call it. I call it the dark ages, or remember that special time we had for 2 years when we couldn't do anything. So I don't mention the LD word or the C word.
Yeah, C word's a bad word in our house too, for various reasons.
Remember when we got to cover up our faces for a long time? That was such a happy time.
Well,
but you guys came on during that time, and I actually got dinged because we were talking about reality, and we shouldn't be doing that on Facebook, right? So you guys do a podcast called BS Free MD. Tell me how this started with you.
Well, it
What,
started.
this with us or the podcast?
Not you. No, I don't care how you got started.
Oh, yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was ancient
it,
years.
it started at the beginning of that time. We started doing Facebook Lives because people had so many questions, and it kind of started to blow up. And we said, well, we've always wanted to do a podcast. And so we just said, why don't we take our 30 years of medical experience, the way we like to interact, and basically our pillow talk is often very scientific, and our table talk around our kids, we'd sit down for dinner and we'd be debating, like actively debating medical treatments. And we said, why don't we just share that with everybody? Because that's what we do. We don't always agree, and it's been fun. We get along great. I mean, we've been married 30 years and she still lets me see her naked. So something's working.
Oh, speaking of naked, we saw more of Tim than any of us, except for maybe May, want to see. He put something on the other day. They're close to a whey. What's the name of the company? We might as well give them a free plug.
Yeah, well, actually, now we're going to be affiliate sponsors. They must not have seen the ad on Instagram yet. But it's Naked Whey. It's a brand of protein powder that we use. They have other supplements as well, but it's literally called Naked Whey, mostly because there's not much in it other than whey protein powder, and it comes from organically sourced, grass-fed cows.
And I think they massage the cows as well and speak to them.
That is utterly ridiculous.
Utterly ridiculous.
So anyway, what are you guys, but you do now it's kind of, now that since the president said COVID's over, now you guys are doing all kinds of different stuff. You have guests like from all over the place on talking about interesting things. What's coming up this week?
Well, fun that you should ask that. So our podcast drops every Thursday. So today's new episode came out, and people can find it on Spotify, iTunes, Apple iTunes, iHeart, Podbean, Google, most typical podcast platforms. But this week's is really kind of an interesting one. We did it with a registered dietitian from Canada, our homeland. This episode's called Hacking Chemo Through Diet and Nutrition. She was diagnosed with stage 1 ovarian cancer out of the blue in her mid-50s, I believe. Mm-hmm. And she has always been a dietitian that's sort of bucked the system and believes in a low-carb diet. Many of them push carbs on patients. But she took matters into her own hands, researched cancer metabolism really thoroughly, and she put herself on pretty much a ketogenic diet and then intermittent fasting during her chemo treatments. She's got a protocol for it, a book, really great story, and really inspirational, and a positive woman. Yeah.
That is so awesome. I mean, when I had cancer, I hear all kinds of different diet things, but that's a thing for me. It changed the way you start looking at going, okay, either it's environmental or something I'm putting in my body. So let's take care of both.
Right.
So I moved out of Eugene. No, I'm kidding.
There you go. Yeah, no. And to her point, the interview, she tells a lot about it, but cancer cells like sugar and carbs, and a lot of, what you're going through in your chemo too, is what happens to your gut. So your gut health is really important during that whole time. And she talks about how you can trick your cancer cells into, not starving them, but she went through chemo as well. And she did the traditional treatments, but she also learned to do all that she could in her power to keep her health up. And that's really cool story.
I'll tell you that, for me, that was like part of it. And I remember when I was getting treated at OHSU, and they were sending me down to the gym. So they'd blast me. And then my doctor, I'm sure this isn't true, but he said, I'm going to blast the bad cells and kill them. Some of the good cells are going to get damaged, and you're going to go to the gym and restore them. And I clocked into that, and I went, yeah. So then I go in and they, do my treatment. And she goes, where are you headed? And I said, down to the gym to kick your ass. And it was my thing. You know what I mean? I was warring. And I remember I cried when I left the last day. I cried because now I had to live with it. It wasn't, I'd done everything I could. And now I was, not actively fighting it the way I was. And I remember that was the hardest thing for me, is going, now what do I do? I just I just hope it doesn't come back and I live. And so a few months later, I learned, no, I'm going to control what goes into me. And every time I'm doing a workout, I know that that's what I'm doing. But I think I've talked to other cancer patients and they said the same thing. It's like when you're in the process, you feel like, okay, let's get it. And then all of a sudden, now I just trust that it's not going to happen again.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I think the crying though was from the soy milk you put in your coffee.
Oh, because it raised my estrogen level.
Yeah, exactly. And then, all of a sudden you couldn't drive a manual transmission either,
Which is why you're an ass.
I know, totally. I'm not listening to that sexist bastard.
So that's why now, yeah. Oh God, that treatment was just great. So now I use coconut milk.
Oh.
So yeah, so the only side effect of that is, well, anyway, that's a whole different medical.
That's exactly right.
Big coconuts.
So this week, if anybody knows anybody that is going through chemo or in that situation, this would be a really great episode for them to tell people about. It's up right now on Spotify under BS, like bullshit, BS free, because there's no BS in this stuff.
Correct.
MD.
BS free MD.
All right. And then you guys once a month are going to be coming on and we're going to actually do a show with you doing maybe interviewing someone and some stuff like that to kind of give people a taste of what it's like.
Perfect. And I can't remember, Tim, are we putting this one up on Rumble as well? So we're starting to do video now as well, not just audio. I want to throw that out there. And so we are putting our video interviews and we have 3 up there already. Everybody will be interested in the Peter McCullough interview that's already up there. And RFK's publisher and author, editor, not author. He's the author. But this one will be up as well. So people can look on Rumble and see the video interviews if they're interested in watching or just the regular podcast searches.
Okay. All right. Perfect. But Tim, when you're on television, just so you know, keep your damn pants on.
Well, you have no idea if I'm wearing pants. It's really...
I haven't seen May look down once.
Business up front, party down below.
Exactly.
All right, you guys. We'll see you later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Love you. Bye. All right. Now, Kim.
You're going to go to me after that? Okay. Yeah. I have pants on.
Kim, yeah, well, we can't see, but there's a lot of people around there. No wonder our numbers are really high. Oh, Tim and May, we just had somebody come on here. Jason Greenbud says pants are not optional here. Okay.
Yep. That'd go over well. No, I have pants on. But you know what? I almost peed my pants. We went on a scary ride. We were throwing pumpkins at these scarecrows, and our driver was crazy, and he's right here because he's Walt's nephew. Walt owns this place. This is Mike Johnson.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Okay, so he's been here for years with his dad. Tell us how long Walt's owned it.
So Walt has owned it for the last 50 years, but it's been in our family for 107 years.
100 and how many?
Was 107 years.
Can you believe that?
No. Oh my God. So Johnson Farms has been around that long. So how did you guys start this? Is a video you're showing, Kim, of the kids throwing pumpkins at them?
I sent video of you, right. He goes around the corners very crazy, and I guess your uncle does that too, right?
It's kind of a tradition out there.
I only got a little snippet there, but they were tossing them.
Okay,
I forgot how hard it is to throw as you're moving. So
I gotta see this again. Hold on. We gotta do a replay.
And then I asked if he's been hit in the head. I mean, you're ready to drive that.
Oh, it gets dangerous sometimes. People got some arms.
That is so fun. So how long are you guys open? Is it through what is it, Halloween?
Yeah, so we're open until about the second week of November is kind of when we slow things down, and about the third week of September is when we just start opening up. Mainly October is our busy month.
And you guys have other stuff besides pumpkins, right?
During the pumpkin season, we have our little farm store here, and we sell berries and other little goodies and stuff like that throughout the year. But mainly we just do the pumpkin patch. So
you said 117 years? Is that how long?
107, yeah.
107. So you guys you probably were there. I know you were there before I-5 was put in, weren't you?
I personally wasn't, so I really don't know that.
No, you had to be because your other farm's on the other side. That's you.
Yeah, it's on both sides of I-5.
No, how? No, you weren't here 107 years ago. What are you, like 25?
Say that again?
How old are you? 25?
I'm 26.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah, good
Close.
guess.
And he's been working a family affair. His dad does stuff here too. They're all just a family farm. And this is their busiest time. They don't do stuff for Christmas and stuff. So right now with the wagon rides, the big giant pumpkins. Do you guys sell these giant ones?
Yeah.
Look at the size of these.
Wow. Is that now? Wait. I have a technical question. Is that really a pumpkin or is that a squash?
Oh.
Technically a squash.
It just doesn't stop. I mean,
It just doesn't.
I cannot help. Seriously, I am like one of the smartest people I know right now.
Now he's feeling so smart.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in an egotistical way. I mean, it's just like, Kim, look at this stuff, you know?
I know. You almost guessed his age and everything.
And the family home is next door.
You need him to take you on a ride when you come back to Oregon. So.
Okay, so can I get up closer here, dude? I want to ask you a question. Yeah. So if I go on that ride, can we put Kim out there as the scarecrow when I throw pumpkins at her?
I mean, I'm down. It's up to her.
This is what I deal with. Mm-hmm.
But only if she can do it right back at you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only fair.
We'll throw it at Rick's hair.
Oh, you are so bad. So, Kim, what do you got planned this weekend with the kids?
Okay. Well, I know. Now we had our fun stuff. We're doing soccer and football all weekend. Everett gets to play at Oxon for his flag football team. So he's excited to play there. So that'll be our we'll send video.
Oh my God. Yeah. Seriously take some video?
Yeah.
And sure. We'll use it next Thursday. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
All right. So,
but if anybody out there who wants something fun to do, come out here. You guys are open all weekend, right?
All weekend.
Okay.
We'd be happy to have you.
All right, Kim, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. See you later. So you guys, somehow Tabitha did not get there. I think they're just really busy because this weekend they're having their wine party out at Compton Family Wines, which is in Philomath. And I'll tell you what, I've been drinking their wine like you would not believe. We went and got I don't know how many cases, but we're supposed to. Okay. So it's supposed to be for our Airbnb guests, but I kind of cracked into one of the bottles and then I kind of opened another case. Oh, Tabitha's watching. She's there. And Tabitha, if you're in a place where you can come on, I still have the link. It's still there in your email, but otherwise I can do this for you. So Kathy and I, when we were there visiting, we tried some of their wine, which is why we bought it.
That's kind of creamy. I was going to look at your ring, but then he's doing a whole video.
Isn't she cute? I mean, Tabitha too, but I was talking about my wife. She is pretty, huh? I think so. Been together for 44 years or some damn thing. I don't know. So she's putting up with me that long. But anyway, that's their wine parties this weekend. And you can join anytime. So you can go out there and you can just join. But it's also harvest time. So Tim Schley, the guy that works with us, he's one of our family. He is back there in Oregon, and he's going to go out there and get some video of the harvest. She says she doesn't see the email. Tabitha, look in your junk mail and see if it's there. And you know what? What else do I have? I have a couple of commercials I can run, and I'll try to send it to you again. Let me do something real fast. Let's see how talented I am. I wonder if I can do two things at one time, because I think you were the last email I sent. No, that was Fun Doctors. Okay, so I got to go back here. Just hang in there. Here, I know what I'm going to do. Tim and May, keep people, have a little conversation while I go do something here.
Thanks for the heads up, Rick.
Oh, you're welcome. I forgot to tell you, hey, I'm going to bring you on right now.
We'll take it from here, no problem.
Yeah. You smart Alex. All I got to do is copy and paste and all that kind of stuff, and then it works. So here we go.
Okay.
So we were just going to tell you that I'm a little jelly about your wine. We did go to Compton ourselves, actually, for the first time a couple of weeks ago. We will back you up on that. It's fantastic wine. Love it.
And they have a ton of different I mean, it's not like one red one, and they have different price levels too, which is what I really like, because you can get something more in my budget, or you could go for the really
Right.
old vineyard.
I'm a big wino snob. Wino
Yes,
snob.
you are.
Next to my vodka tasting. But what I really liked is they have some amazing blends that they do themselves there together. I don't know what you thought of those, but instead of just the regular, they get the Pinot, the Chardonnay, which is really good, but I like the blends too.
Did you have the little champagne in the little bottles?
No, we didn't have.
Oh, I have it out there and I should know it, but it's really good. They come in little teeny cans, and it's like little bottles of champagne, or little cans of champagne. It's kind of fun.
That's fun.
Well, and they had a rosé that was made from Pinot grapes, which was really good.
Was that? Yeah, I got that. Was the Ramato.
Mm-hmm. Tim really liked that.
Yeah, we bought 2 bottles of that. So it's just like a Pinot Gris, but it's made, they leave the skin on, and then it turns it kind of a rosé color.
Yeah, but really we shouldn't talk about this because we're actually doing Sober October.
Drooling, and he's doing well. I'm supporting him with this Sober October.
It's CO2. That's what Tabitha's writing on here. It's CO2. Tabitha, I did send you a link again if you want to look for it. So you guys, you're just trying for a month to not drink any alcohol?
Correct.
Is that both of you?
Well, it sucks because it's my birthday month, and I'm trying to be supportive of him, but I don't know how I'm going to make it.
I sort of invited her into this experiment, so I figured it would be a good experiment.
That was really good. Wow.
I'm just the support staff.
Right.
I was wondering, because I did have a couple of calls of people reporting her down at the local tavern.
Yeah, exactly. Can you come get her again, please?
They're calling, Rick, isn't May connected with you somehow? Yeah, well, she's down here at the Five and Dime, buying bottles of an MD. MD.
There you go.
That's right.
Oh, that's perfect.
You're carting out, boxes of wine.
Got ratted out again. Yeah, and actually, what do I do? One of my other favorite vineyards that I'm a longtime subscriber to from Oregon is having their big wine pickup party on my birthday weekend, and I looked at him and said, really? What am I going to do?
If I was going to make there's an alcohol in Oregon, and they just sold, the company just sold to another company, but it's called Big Bottom Gin. And I love that, because Big Bottom Gin, you can go, so of course, the first time I bought it, I walked up to the counter and I held it up, and the guy looks at me and says, "Does this gin make my butt look big?" He looked at me and he goes, "You've been waiting for that." And I go, I'm going to buy it just because of that. But yeah, I have. But look who showed up. Dun, 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 dun.
Hi.
So Tabitha, some of your big fans here, BS Free MD, right ahead above you.
I'm their fan.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much.
So Tab, what you got going on this weekend? This is I told folks, isn't this the wine club party?
Yeah, we have wine club. We're also picking grapes Saturday and Sunday. Actually, I talked to Tim today. He's talking about maybe coming out this weekend. And I'm driving right now doing a wine delivery. So I pulled over.
Oh, good. Because we'd hate to have you drinking wine and driving and not pulling over. That would be a really
I'm working on Sober October too. I didn't know it was called that, but.
Well,
I hope that you are really successful, because I'm not.
I haven't been that great, but there's an effort.
So, Tab, did you see that picture I posted of our steak dinner last night?
Ooh, no, I missed it.
Okay, I tagged you in it, but it's like we got a cow. We didn't kill the neighbors, but we got a cow in the freezer, and so we had these big old T-bones, and then we had the Compton Pinot, the 3 pigs, and it was so good. But I took a picture of the bottle before I ate my steak, and it was already down to here, because that's the warm up. And I shouldn't be talking about this in front of Tim. I feel really bad, but it was delicious, and it was so savory and wonderful.
Yeah, we do have 3 pigs. Our 3 pigs Pinot Noir is alma mater to my 3 pigs on the farm. So I've got a couple pet pigs that hang out, and they're just spoiled. I've taught them how to sit, and they run around, and they're grazers, so they graze around the vineyard. They're so cute. Nobody else thinks they're as cute as I think they are, but
Yeah, I thought they were, sort of cute. I mean, in a piggish sort of way. I mean, better looking than Miss Piggy from the Muppets. I would say that.
they have smooshed faces, so you can't really see their eyes. I mean, it's cute. They're a mess. They're a cute mess.
They're pug pigs.
You have to marinate the chef. You have to marinate the chef. Somebody came on here and said, Tom Hunt says, you have to marinate the chef. Tom, in my house, I am not the chef. My wife is the chef, always. Yeah, Rick doesn't get near the kitchen. She wants it done right. All right, so Tabitha, this weekend people are invited out. They can come out to the winery to just taste wine, or join the club and be in the wine party. And no stomping grapes, though.
Yeah.
We will be all hands on deck. I'm sure my kids are on payroll, so they work, and the winery also smiling the whole time for the wine club, and my other boys will be out helping stomp the grapes.
Okay, well, Kim can't be around any of that alcohol, but May might come out with her little pretty feet and stomp.
I'm thinking he's working Saturday, so I might just what happens on Saturdays. He doesn't have to know about.
So are you gonna bomb on out there?
Right.
I'm thinking so.
I'm a serious journalist, and you guys make me kind of crazy on this show. This Thursday show is turning into, and then on the next week we have Rob, from down on the coast, and he's crazy too. So I think it's turning into kind of just crazy hour. So I like it. All right, you guys take it easy. BS Free MD. Remember, you guys check him out on Spotify. Bye, Tim and May. See ya. Bye. And Tab, good seeing you. I'm glad you could get in at the last minute. I knew you'd do it. Yeah. You're good at this. And hopefully people will see you down there. I'm going to go have some of your wine again tonight.
Oh, great. Thank you.
All right, hon. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So we got one more thing for you. Remember our sponsors, Cristiano Family Dentistry, Compton Family Vineyards, BS Free MD. I'm going to play Dr. Bratlin.
This is Dr. Michael Bratlin from Cristiano. Just because we live in Oregon doesn't mean we have to accept this crazy left-wing ideology the rest of our lives. We don't have to succumb to CRT, gender identity indoctrination, out-of-control homelessness, crime, and so on. We can actually make a change, and it starts with the next election. Right now, it is our responsibility to make sure that those who share our same values are elected in November. Make sure you and everyone that you know actually votes. We can and will take back Oregon.
And that's Dr. Michael Bratlin. If you're looking for a dentist, he's the guy. I'll tell you what, super reasonable. In fact, later this month, we're going to do a show on one of his business partners who actually makes the crowns that he uses here in the United States. He does not use Chinese crowns, which is where most of them are made. And these are high quality, and Dr. Bratlin will stand behind him 100%. And we're going to talk to Randy and find out how they're made. Which I find, because I got one, and I think it's very interesting to see. Okay, so now we're going to go to our Bill London, and I am not responsible for what Bill talks about. Okay, this is not my problem. But here's Bill and your wrap up of the week in news. Take it away, Bill.
Good evening from the News Radio, 11:20 a.m. and 93.7 FM, KPNW studios. I'm Bill London, and I'm here to break things. I also co-host the Wake Up Call Monday through Friday morning, 6 a.m. to 9 on KPNW, streaming live at kpnw.com, and the news brought to you by Chris Dental and Dr. Michael Bratlin, where he's willing to stick his hands in your mouth. All right, let's start off with the political news. 4 new polls show Republican Christine Drazan with a slight lead over Democrat Tina Kotek in Oregon's gubernatorial race. Depending on the poll, her lead over Tina Kotek is anywhere from 2 to 4%, well within the margin of error. As far as both candidates and who would vote for them, both are in the low 30% range. Only one poll, DHM, shows Betsy Johnson with over 20% of likely voters preferring her, 21% if you want to be accurate about it. Also, according to polling, and I find this pretty interesting, very few individuals can consider abortion to be a deciding factor. Now, if you have been listening to Democrat Tina Kotek and seeing her ads, you would think that is the only thing that people are going to be voting on and the biggest issue that they're going to be making a decision on when it comes to the gubernatorial race. Not so. According to several polls, the issues that Oregon voters care most about are homelessness, crime, drug use, and affordable housing. Abortion and inflation, which I find that surprising, don't appear to be playing a big role in Oregon for just about anybody. Now, talking about this, I'm kind of curious whether you saw the debate on KATU on Tuesday night. It was also simulcast on KVAL in Eugene and I believe KTVL in Medford. And K2 was moderating that in Portland with one of its anchors. And as a news group, I mean, this could have been a major coup for that broadcasting group. And the three candidates could have set themselves apart. That is, if the event was actually crafted to be anything but as shallow as possible. Now, if you saw this thing last night, and I'm going way off script here, if you watched this thing last night, it started ostensibly at 6 o'clock. The actual debate, that is from the point that the candidates started talking to the time that they ended, it was about 48 minutes. The first 6 minutes of the debate was nothing but KATU congratulating itself on running this particular debate, and then a lengthy explanation of the rules. And as far as the way that it was crafted was absolutely ridiculous. When a question was asked, each candidate had 1 minute and 15 seconds to answer. And during the entire course of the debate, each candidate was only allowed 3 rebuttals during the course. So what you had was something that was carefully crafted to ensure that you only got sound bites instead of something substantive that maybe would give you some insight into the particular candidates. All you got was the same talking points that you would normally get in a typical 60-second political ad on television. Now, I'm going to say that if you want to see an actual debate between the three candidates that really does kind of get into the issues and has some meat, I suggest you go to the KTVZ website, because there was a debate that nobody was talking about between the three candidates in Bend last week. It was over an hour and a half, and you can actually see them trying to flesh out their particular ideas. Now, you may be asking, well, if they could do that in Bend, an hour and a half, why didn't they do that in the Portland debate that was held on Tuesday night? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the stations didn't want to preempt Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, starting at 7 and 7:30 respectively. Those two syndicated shows account for a huge amount of their revenue, and they sell commercials in those shows for an enormous amount of money. Oh no, we got to continue making the money. I'll take keep the electorate ignorant for 1,000. Daily double. All right, in other news, we've talked a lot about the increases in drug abuse, in drug addiction, and in overdose deaths here in Oregon on this particular little newscast. Well, we're going to look at it in a completely different way, and that is, what's it really costing? Now, methamphetamines and synthetic opioids like fentanyl have helped drive an increase in opioid overdoses and related deaths in 2021, according to the latest report from the Oregon Health Authority. The report is called Opioids and the Ongoing Drug Overdose Crisis in Oregon, and it shows that overdoses involving multiple drugs, known as polysubstance overdoses, that's where somebody takes, say, fentanyl and methamphetamine at the same time, also rose during 2021 and now account for more than half of all fatal overdoses. So I said, what's the cost? Hospitalizations increased in 2021 following decreases in 2018 and 2020. The charges for drug overdose related hospitalizations in that 1 year period of 2021 reached $170 million, and overdose related emergency room charges reached $50 million. In addition, there were almost 73,000 emergency department visits in 1 year in Oregon and more than 17,000 hospitalizations related to substance use disorder and other issues that go along with having an overdose in 2021. That's a lot of money. And if you think those individuals were paying those bills, no. The vast majority of them didn't pay 1 penny. Those costs were absorbed by the hospitals, and guess who they're being passed on to? You and your insurance company. Now, we dovetail that with this. Nearly 2/3 of Oregon's hospitals lost money in just the second quarter of this year, with margins plunging to deaths below the lockdown of 2020 when all but basic operations ceased, according to a new analysis released by Apries Health Insights. It's been driven by sharply increasing labor and other costs combined with flat revenue. Hospital losses from operations collectively reached $111 million in the second quarter. Through the first 6 months of this year, hospitals throughout the state have lost almost $250 million. Now, according to Becky Holtberg, she's the OAHHS president and CEO, she says the wheels have come off the financial model that allows hospital doors to open to patients. She says this dismal financial picture calls into question the ability of hospitals to provide essential and life-saving care for patients in their community now and in the future. She says it should be a wake-up call that rely on functioning hospitals to take care of our loved ones and neighbors. She said, the system can break, and we are getting ever closer to the breaking point. If you want percentages, median operating margin declined sharply in Q2, minus 4.7%, following a Q1 margin of minus 2.5%. Both those numbers are below where they were at the early stages of the pandemic. And once again, hospital revenue is not covering the cost of patient care. And the system here in Oregon is breaking down across pretty much the entire care curriculum. And it's more than just hospitals and emergency rooms. It's ambulances that are going to hospitals. And there is a capacity crisis in hospitals to the point where it's adding strain on hospital staffs and finances. On an average day in Oregon, 500 patients around the state are actually ready to be discharged from hospitals into a care setting that better meets their needs. That would be something like skilled nursing. Well, there's nowhere for them to go because there's not enough staff and enough beds to take care of them. So they're staying in hospitals. And meanwhile, hundreds of more people are waiting in emergency departments, literally boarding there, waiting for a staffed bed in the hospital to open. So you've got emergency departments that are often full, which means long wait times for ambulance companies and other community members that need to get treated. Well, how do you think that Oregonians, and in particular Oregon voters, feel about Portland? Well, the vast majority of Oregon voters have a negative impression of Portland in a poll commissioned by the Oregonian. Half of the respondents said they had a very negative view of Portland's largest city, while another 22% said they have a somewhat negative impression of Portland. That, according to the poll conducted by DHM Research. Only 5% view the city positively. 18% view it somewhat positively. That, according to a poll of 600 likely voters chosen to match the demographics of the state's turnout in the November election. So I have to ask this, what's not to like about Portland? I mean, they had a year and a half of peaceful demonstrations. Well, yeah, it left businesses boarded up and burned out and finally vacant. And, well, okay, the city has become an urban homeless encampment, and that you've got crime, lots of it, including violent and deadly crime that is driven in large part by gangs. But of course, we can't say that it's gangs that are doing this. Then you have a city council that tackles crime by putting up orange traffic barrels. Okay, that is something that should be on the positive side of Portland, and that should weigh in people's minds. They should be thinking, okay, yeah, I may feel negatively, but orange traffic barrels, man, that balances it out. You also have soaring rents and a mayor that never played Clue as a kid, and which is obvious because he obviously can't catch one. And then you have a district attorney who won't prosecute felonies and who really couldn't give a rip about the rights of victims. And if anyone thinks this happened overnight, nah. Think about it. This took years of hard work to create this kind of chaos in Oregon's largest city. And if you love irony, here's one for you. Do you know what Portland's marketing slogan is? Now, mind you, again, the vast majority of Oregon voters have a negative impression of Portland. Here's the marketing slogan for the city, and it was released about 8 months ago. We like it here. You might like it too. That's good stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking maybe a more honest slogan would be Portland, the place of your dreams if you want to closely examine an urban sphincter. At a time when public schools across the state say they don't have enough teachers, 3 Bend Lapine school district teachers were fired Tuesday because they failed to show proof of being vaccinated for COVID-19. It was a 6-0 vote of the school board, and Mark Schultz, Zach Webb, and Kelly Lundy were all terminated from their jobs. Many of them, or at least one of them, had been there for over 26 years. All 3 teachers and the district were given 10 minutes for testimony. The HR department of the district said, from the district's perspective, it's strictly an issue of the district following the law. At least one of the teachers says they're going to appeal this and likely take it to court. Speaking of short meetings, now we've talked about that here on Get Real with Rick Dancer, and that is that Oregon very likely is soon going to be joining California in banning the sale of gas-powered cars by 2035 to stop climate change. And that's pretty much a game changer. If you think about it, that is a big one. That is huge. So the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality that is, well, doing this is holding a whopping 2 meetings for public comment. And they're not going to be meetings where people can go. No, they're going to be virtual meetings. Nothing could go wrong or be rigged with that. They're going to do that on October 18th and 19th. A ground-shifting change and 2 virtual public meetings. That's all they're going to do. Then by the end of the year, well, they're going to ram it through regardless of what the people say. And we'll leave with this. The Oregon Education Department has an early learning division, and they spent $26 million on preschool slots, tuition essentially, over the past 2 school years for low-income kids. $26 million for kids that never enrolled. This means millions of dollars that were supposed to help low-income families send their children to preschool were not used for that purpose. How were they used? Nobody knows. There was a location in Portland that admitted to one of the Portland TV stations, KOIN, that they were paying preschool teachers $17 an hour, that they didn't have any kids coming there, while the organization got thousands of dollars to keep the lights on from the state and the Payment Protection Program loans during COVID-19. Well, that's $26 million well spent for something. We don't know what, but it was well spent on something. All right, that's a wrap for me. See you next week. And now it's time for Rick to roll out an industrial drum of steaming, gooey real.
Sounds like something that came out of Portland Sphincter. Oh my God. Can you believe it? I mean, yeah, guys, it's what's so sad is this is real. I mean, that could be like, if that wasn't so serious, that's almost like watching late night television where you're going, oh, these are great jokes. These are great jokes. But this is the government that we have allowed, excuse me, to run Oregon. I sure as hell hope that you are going to vote coming up in November, because the big problem in my mind, which is, it's my show, so it gets to be my mind. It's not about Democrats and Republicans. You know what it is? It's about apathy. It's about cheating. It's about manipulation. And one party's been doing that for decades, while the rest of us were either apathetic, not paying attention, or busy trying to live our lives. Well, now we understand we can't just live our lives. We have to get in there and get involved in this stuff, because when you have no balance in the state and you have a super majority, you got problems. And look what we're going through right now. And the good news is, I think it's going to turn around. I have great hope that either Christine Drazan or Betsy Johnson is going to win and be a new governor in here. And then there's a whole bunch of people. In fact, we're featuring some of this tomorrow. I've got a guy tomorrow for House District 13, 7, and 43 up in Portland for the next 3 days. Not on our show, but I just did interviews with them for the heck of it, because I want to give them a shot at getting your name out and just who they are. So we just did it for nothing and gave them a shot. Because you know what? If somebody's got the balls to run for office, I've done it. It's not a nice world. If they got the balls to do that, then you need to pay attention and listen to them and give them a shot. Oregon, I am so hopeful that I can have on November 8th and go, gosh, I'm so glad I moved to Montana, because this isn't about all that. For Kathy and me, this is our dream. This is our life. This is where God wants us to be. Has stuff to do with that. I mean, those were ways that God used Oregon to help push us out because it was so shitty. And I'm a freedom-loving man. You know what? And I got to have my freedom. I can't live in that. And so, but I'm going to be going, God dang. But I'm also going to be going, I am so happy. I'll cry if you guys get Christine or Betsy, because you are going to be on the way to becoming what I remember as being a true Oregon, a state of individual people who were independent-minded and didn't give a shit if you were a Democrat or Republican. They just wanted to know what you thought and talk it out with you. That's Oregon. It's not this manipulative, vindictive bleh that it's turned into. So what are the moral of the story? Register to vote and get out there and vote and be participants in it. And don't get overly wrapped up in it. You know, I was reading something from listening to Jordan Peterson this morning, and he said this cool thing. And it's in Revelation somewhere, I think, too. It's like, stare into the poison. If it's a snake or the evil inclination or something, don't be afraid of it. You stare into that and you walk into those unknown territories that scare the hell out of you and that you don't think you'll be good at. Just stare it in the face, because you can do it. I'm serious. I think 90% of this is all in here, and we are our own worst enemies. So just when there's poison there, don't be afraid of it. Stare at it, look it in the face, and go, come on, I dare you. I dare you. And then you will get you will get the wrath. But you know what? It only hurts for a while. I've been doing this a long time. I've had people say some really nasty things about me. But it only hurts for a while. And when you're done, you feel like, or when you do stand up for what you believe in, once you get past that initial pain, there's this place where you go, God, I am so much tougher than I thought I was. I seriously am. I didn't grow up thinking I was very tough. I'm carrying on, but I didn't grow up thinking I was very tough. And after running for public office and doing what I've done the last few years, and you can take this as you want because I don't care, but I am one bad ass with a heart bigger than his head. But I'm going to fight till the end. Have a good night, and share this on your page so other people can see this. And then don't forget BS Free MD. Go find it tomorrow when you're working out. Instead of listening to that music, I've been listening to podcasts. Listen to the podcast. Listen to BS Free MD on Spotify, and learn something cool and learn a new thing about yourself. It's a great way to get educated and find out what's going on in the world.
It's no secret that medicine is a bit uptight. That's why Tim and I created BS Free MD, to mix things up a little and have fun in the process. Besides, we are having these exact same discussions all the time, so we thought we might as well invite everyone to the party. If you really like us, you can get plenty more and maybe see one of Tim's cool tattoos on our Instagram or Facebook pages at BS Free MD. See you next time.
But we try to keep BS Free MD as raw and real as possible. We can't be held responsible for any medical decisions or discussions had as a result of what you've heard on the show. We know, bummer. But the truth is, we really do care about your questions. So feel free to reach out to us by email at doc@bsfreemd.com.